All right, let's talk about success and let's create some habits around it. What do you say? Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Ligo here again, and in this video I want to talk to you about success habit hacks for the year 2024. That's right, success habit hacks for 2024. I trust that you are off to a good start in the new year. And I think that a video like this has some great timing with regards to, is it time for a pulse check? I think it is, on how are you doing, right? Now is a great time to go ahead and see how is your 2024 shaping up. With that said, there's probably some things that you could do better or some things that you want to go ahead and start doing so that the beginning, which is here right now, is still something that you're going to make the most out of. And so with that said, I'm going to offer you 3 very good but simple success habits, or success habit hacks, if you will, that I promise you, if you go ahead and implement them now as opposed to later on in the year, you're going to be that much more set up for success. And I trust that this is helpful to you. Okay, so let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. And that way we can do more in 2024, thinking and being and acting like a successful person. Let's get right into it. Number 1, organization. Organization, okay? And I don't think it's any surprise that I'm starting off with this particular word, because you know that I've talked about it before, and it's oh so important, and it's ever so true. Organization is the main thing, right? I firmly believe that. Now, please don't mistake this by paralysis by way of analysis, right? Or analysis paralysis, where you're trying to figure everything out before you move forward. I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about, though, is organization, right? Getting organized to the point where you know what things are in place, you've marshaled your resources, you know where you're at, and you kind of use that as a springboard to launch your efforts, right? So there's a lot of things that organization can plan to. Obviously, things like your calendar and making sure that your scheduling is tight is absolutely important. But there's other things you want to do as well, especially reflecting on last year. Is there something you can do organization-wise that is more specifically in your own personal organization or your business that you think would help you? So for instance, maybe last year you did a lot as a one-man band, and now going forward in this year, you need to organize and say, you know what, maybe you don't need to have the reins the whole time, right? Maybe you need to have a partner or bring in someone who can help you in this case and organize them into a specific portion or responsibility or role. Does that make sense? Organization is oh so important, and you have to have it nailed down now. And I would venture to say that if you're not careful, for a lot of people, they're already suffering because they're starting to get disorganized, and as a result, overwhelm is starting to set in. And when overwhelm sets in, good luck getting back on track, right? It can be an absolute uphill battle. And so I challenge you to get organized and stay organized right now. Get organized, right? One of my great mentors in the past gave me a really cool piece of advice that I have adapted first for ministry and then for business because it's absolutely applicable. And that is, he would say, you have to get organized before you can mobilize, before you can evangelize, right? You got to organize before you can mobilize, before you can evangelize. Speaking of ministry. And I have since adopted that into my business, and it's made a lot of difference as well. Only I've changed it to say you've got to organize before you can mobilize, before you can monetize, right? You've got to organize before you can mobilize, before you can monetize. I think you get the idea. Get organized. Number 2, massive action taking. Massive action taking, okay? Now again, this should not be a surprise to you, but could you ask for a more perfect time for me to go ahead and remind you to do so than here at the beginning of the year? Now is the time for massive action, okay? Everything that you did to wind down the last year and everything you did to get fired up for this new year, now's the time to go ahead and hit it hard. That's right, come out steaming out of the barn doors with guns blazing. And if you look at my past several videos, especially closing out the old year and heading into the new one, I talked a lot about new plans, new ideas, new initiatives. And if you're gonna adopt any of that, then guess what? Now's the time to do it. So get out there and make something happen. Go out there and make a big splash, right? Make a big jump. Go out there, make a lot of strategic noise, and claim and hijack a lot of market disruption. Go ahead and bring attention to yourself, and let's go ahead and make this thing happen, right? If you've never done anything like this before, then now is the absolute time to go ahead and do it. Learn a new skill, right? Go ahead and further some of your old skills, but go out there and make it happen. Hit the ground running, take some massive action. Number 3, and finally, personal care. personal care. And I gotta be honest, this is one of those areas where I personally struggle and have struggled in the past, just because it's so easy when you're working hard and grinding away, it's so easy to neglect yourself, right? And so personal care is kind of an umbrella term that really encompasses quite a few things, but not the least of which is making sure that your health is good. And that's kind of one of those things where I'd suffer, right? And maybe you know something about this. It's very easy if your nose is at the grindstone to work so hard and work through, you're chained to the desk, you're chained to the computer, you're doing all these things. And because of that, you know, something sets in, like for instance, you drink a little bit too much coffee. You just keep slamming coffee and you're not hydrating yourself properly with water because it's just more coffee, more caffeine, more energy, let's go, right? The other thing that you probably wind up doing, which I've been guilty of the past, is just eating a lot of takeout and fast food because it's convenient, it's easy. You know, you work hard and you're working away and you don't realize how much time has gone by and you're wondering why you're starving and you're getting a headache because it's time to eat, and you know, it's a little bit past your time to eat. And so what do? You go out for a takeout, hit a drive-through, call a DoorDash, and they bring you some food, as opposed to cooking something wholesome and healthy and planning ahead. Now you're just going out and picking up whatever is quick and easy and convenient, and maybe it's not the best quality food, right? Things like that, okay? Also just taking time to yourself, time to actually take a day off or half a day off or something, right? And sometimes the people around you suffer just as much as you do, if not more. So let me encourage you, don't do that in 2024. Don't do that this year. Become a person who takes care of self. And that's not selfish to do. It's actually very selfless to do. I'm starting to learn more and more, because how can I be who I should be to my kids, my wife, the people that I serve in my business, if I'm not taking care of myself? What good am I to them if I'm dead, if I'm sick, if I'm not feeling well, you know, if the relationships are not being nurtured like they should be because I'm too busy chasing revenue as opposed to nurturing those relationships? I think you get the idea. My friend, let me encourage you. Do not neglect personal care. That's it, my friends. All right, I'm not going to keep you long. Go right back at it. Get back out there. Put some of these things into action and crush it this year. Go ahead and make a big splash at the beginning, and I wish you nothing but the best. Now, make sure that you hit a like and comment, and also subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. This is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise, and I'll see you next time. Take care.